Good evening. This is All India Radio and I am Gaura Dhawan Lal, and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 76.3%. Over 24,67,000 people cured so far. Health Minister Harshvardhan virtually inaugurates 2 new medical colleges and 3 super speciality blocks in Rajasthan. Safety of students during NEET and JEE 2020 top priority for authorities, says NTA. Admit cards for NEET undergraduate level released. Central team in Assam assesses damages caused by floods with state officials in Guwahati. And Niti Aayog releases report on Export Preparedness Index 2020. Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu occupy top 3 ranks. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country continues its upward trend and reached 76.3% today. With sustained, preemptive and timely interventions, over 24,67,000 people in the country have been successfully cured of coronavirus so far, along with the recovery of over 63,000 patients in the last 24 hours. The total number of people who recovered from COVID-19 in the country has also reached almost 3.5 times the number of active cases. India has registered over a 100% hike in recoveries in the last 25 days. The Health Ministry has informed that out of the total active corona cases in the country, only 0.29% are on ventilators, whereas nearly 2% of the total patients are in the ICU. The case fatality rate also continues to show a steady decline and now stands at 1.84%. The Health Ministry said that over 67,000 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative figure to 32,34,475. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 7,07,267. In a single day, 1,059 deaths have also been reported, taking the toll to 59,449. India is continuously stepping up its COVID testing capacity. In the last 24 hours, more than 8,20,000 samples were tested, taking the cumulative testing numbers till date to over 3,76,51,000. The COVID positivity rate continues to record a decline despite increased testing and stands at a weekly average of around 8% of the total samples tested. Tests done per million of the population in the country have also scaled a new peak of being over 27,000. The Union Health Ministry informed that the remarkable feat has been achieved by rigorously following the test, track and treat strategy. The ICMR said that the indigenous production of testing kits in the country has brought down the cost incurred on single RT-PCR test from around 2,000 rupees to nearly 300 rupees. The week-wise average daily tests conducted has also witnessed a sharp increase from around 2.3 lakh in the first week of July 2020 to over 8 lakh in the current week.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurated 2 medical colleges and 3 super speciality blocks in Rajasthan through video conference today. Speaking on the occasion, the Health Minister said that India has outperformed other big countries in the fight against coronavirus.
हमें इस बात का संतोष है कि सारे देश ने जब मिलकर लड़ाई लड़ी कोरोना के खिलाफ, तो हम दुनिया के अंदर शायद बड़े बड़े देशों से भी बेहतर प्रदर्शन कर पाए। आज बड़े गर्व के साथ हम कहते हैं कि हमारे देश का रिकवरी रेट सारे दुनिया से बेहतर है। हमारे देश का फैटेलिटी रेट 1.84% दुनिया में सबसे कम है। 3,78,09,556 टेस्ट हम सारे देश में कर चुके हैं। एक लैब से जो यात्रा शुरू की वो 1540 लैब तक पहुंच गई।
Meanwhile, the COVID-19 recovery rate in the state has risen to 79%. The fatality rate has also come down to 1.3% in the state. Our Jaipur correspondent has the details.
5 projects and health facilities with a cost of rupees 828 crores have been inaugurated today. These include medical college buildings in Bharatpur and Bhilwara and super specialty centers in Bikaner, Udaipur and Kota. The Health Minister praised Rajasthan's efforts to deal with COVID-19. He also said that more attention is needed in Jaipur, Jodhpur, Alwar, Kota and Bikaner. Meanwhile, Health Minister of the state Dr. Raghu Sharma has informed that the positivity rate in the state is 3.4%, which is lowest in the country. More than 1,300 people are being found positive every day in the state. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Uttar Pradesh conducted the highest number of coronavirus tests yesterday with 1,44,802 tests. Expressing satisfaction on conducting more than 1.44 lakh COVID-19 tests, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed officials to ramp it up further to 1.50 lakh tests per day. He said that testing is crucial in tackling the menace of corona. The Chief Minister said that the state government's proactive policy resulted in much lower death rate in comparison with other states and even countries. He emphasized that in order to achieve minimal death rate due to COVID-19, more effective strategies should be formulated.
In Odisha, the daily COVID-19 caseload crossed the 3,000 mark yesterday, taking the total number of affected people in the state to 87,602. A record 2,546 infected people have also recovered in a day. With this, the total number of recoveries has jumped to 59,470. The COVID-19 death toll has also shot up to 428, with the death of 13 persons in the last 24 hours. More from our correspondent.
The sustained focus in testing by the government of Odisha has brought the positivity rate down below 6% despite the daily spike in COVID cases. With about 2 lakh samples having been tested during the last 3 days, the number of cumulative tests is fast approaching the 15 lakh mark. Meanwhile, the state government is reshaping the rate of RT-PCR tests for private individuals at 1,200 rupees in ICMR-approved private laboratories. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan has announced the opening of degree colleges from the 1st of September. Speaking to media persons in Bengaluru today, he said that all the degree colleges will commence online classes from the 1st of next month and offline classes from the 1st of October. The Deputy Chief Minister informed that guidelines in this regard are awaited from the central government on conducting offline classes as well as a few degree exams in September. He made it clear that all academic activities will start from next month, and in October, students are expected to attend classes in person. More from our correspondent.
Dr. Ashwath Narayan has said that all the decisions regarding commencement of degree colleges are taken in the sole interest of the students. Speaking regarding the opposition to NEET exam, the minister said that vested interest should not play with the future of children. Expressing suspicion over the opposition, the minister said it could be an attempt to allocate seats to professional courses through opaque means rather than based on merit. He cited the example of Karnataka, which successfully conducted common entrance tests for more than 1.94 lakh students, including those 63 COVID-positive students. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has announced that all college and polytechnic students who have paid exam fees and are awaiting the examinations are exempted from writing them. However, those awaiting their final semester papers need to write them. Meanwhile, in Tamil Nadu, the total number of coronavirus cases is marching towards the 4 lakh mark. 5,958 people were tested positive today, taking the total number of cases to over 3,97,000. However, the active caseload in the state is about 52,000. Our correspondent has filed this report.
The COVID-19 pandemic has made education one of the casualties globally this year. Fearing the viral spread, examinations were initially delayed for colleges and schools and then abandoned, except the final semester examinations. Based on the UGC and the AICTE guidelines, the Tamil Nadu government issued an order on 27th July that the regular students, barring those in final semester, will be awarded marks based on their past performance, including internal assessments. There were demands from candidates who have arrears to extend the privilege to them also. Accepting the demand, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has today said all those who have paid the examination fees except for the last semester will be exempted from writing them. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Maharashtra, the Phase 2 clinical trial of the Oxford COVID-19 vaccine being manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, SII, began at a medical college and hospital in Pune today. According to the hospital officials, 2 male volunteers were administered the vaccine at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College and Hospital post noon today. A report.
The doctors at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College and Hospital administered the first shot of the Covishield vaccine to a 32-year-old man after his reports of COVID-19 and antibodies test came out negative. Another 48-year-old male volunteer was also given the vaccine. According to details by the medical director of Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College Hospital and Research Center, Dr. Sanjay Lalwani, the COVID-19 and antibodies tests were conducted on 5 volunteers. Of them, the reports of 3 volunteers' antibodies test came out positive, so they became ineligible for today's trial. The doctor informed that in all, 25 candidates will be given the vaccine in next 7 days. Meanwhile, the Sangli District Administration has initiated stringent action on the private hospitals which are asking to deposit advance amount before admitting COVID-positive patients. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
The nation is fighting COVID-19 collectively and with unity. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also urged the people of the country to stand and work together to eradicate the virus several times. In Manipur, a transgender doctor, inspired by the words of the Prime Minister, is working dedicatedly against COVID-19. 27-year-old Beyonce Leshram, working at a private hospital in Imphal, has been treating COVID-19 patients since the outbreak of the virus in the state. A report from our Imphal correspondent.
Transgenders are known as Nupi Manbi in Manipur. There are many talented transgenders in Manipur which often create headline stories of the newspaper. Once more, a transgender young doctor has shown to the people that collective effort is necessary while fighting the pandemic. Beyonce Leshram from Imphal had completed MBBS from a reputed medical college of Imphal and is working at Shizu Hospital and Research Institute now. She has decided to devote her duty towards treating COVID-19 patients without fear, and it has passed on the message to the people that collectively we can win the fight against the COVID-19.
My name is Beyonce Leshram, working as a resident medical officer in Shizu Hospital in Imphal. We as a doctor and as a frontliner, we used to treat COVID patients in Shizu Hospital and many of the COVID care centers. To fight this pandemic, we have to fight collectively, not as single person. We, all the people of the India are responsible to fight this pandemic. We have to respect the frontliners because they are the only ones who help the people with COVID patients to improve the conditions of the patients.
Beyonce Leshram has also said that people should not discriminate against the COVID-19 patients. JJ Thokchon from Imphal for AIR News.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you views of leading medical experts in COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, the director of AIIMS in Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria, advised people to aggressively follow social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection.
Regular hand washing should be done. So those who in an area where there is coronavirus infection should wash their hands regularly. You should avoid going to crowded places because if someone in the crowd is coughing and has the infection, he can spread to others in the crowded places. And if any member in your family has fever, cough, cold, he should stay at home and avoid going out so that he doesn't spread the infection to other people in the community.
Dr. Rakesh Garg of AIIMS in Delhi said that the spread of COVID-19 infection takes place through a person having a travel history and as well as from those who have come in contact with the infected person.
COVID-19 is being spread from persons who have a travel history from somebody, or they have a contact which has from somewhere else and that is an endemic area for it, or a person who is taking care of positive patients and they have not used proper precautions. So those are the things. If they have this positive history, then probably the chances of COVID-19 will be more. As compared to those patients who does not have any contact history with these patients, not history of travel, they are staying there at home, the chances will be much lesser. A clinical distinguish between based on the clinical symptoms at time may not be very appropriate, but based on history we can say that obviously these all things are absent and patient is having some amount of say cold and cough, the chances of getting a COVID-19 will be much lesser.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 76.30%. Over 24,67,000 people cured so far. Health Minister Harshvardhan virtually inaugurates 2 new medical colleges and 3 super speciality blocks in Rajasthan. Safety of students during NEET and JEE 2020, top priority for the authorities, says NTA. Admit cards for NEET undergraduate level released. Central team in Assam assesses damages caused by floods with state officials in Guwahati, and Niti Aayog releases report on Export Preparedness Index 2020. Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu occupy the top 3 ranks. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The National Testing Agency NTA has said that all steps and precautions will be taken while conducting NEET and JEE 2020 exams in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. The joint entrance examination JEE mains and the NEET undergraduate examinations for admissions to technical and medical courses are scheduled to be held next month. Talking to the media, NTA Director General Dr. Vineet Joshi said safety of all students and staff is paramount to them. He assured that the government guidelines on social distancing have been followed.
कोविड-19 का पेंडेमिक है अभी, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों ने सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग की जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की गाइडलाइंस हैं उसका पूरा ध्यान में रखते हुए एक तो हमने नंबर ऑफ सेंटर्स को बढ़ाया है, नंबर ऑफ सेंटर मतलब नंबर ऑफ रूम्स को बढ़ाया है। हमने इस बात का पूरा ध्यान रखा हुआ है कि जो बच्चे परीक्षा केंद्र पे एकत्र होते हैं परीक्षा शुरू होने के पहले या परीक्षा खत्म होने के बाद, उसको भी प्रॉपरली कंट्रोल किया जाए। इसके अलावा नंबर ऑफ इन्विजिलेटर्स की संख्या को भी दुगना कर दिया गया है, क्योंकि एक तरफ हम सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का ध्यान रख रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ से हम लोग यह भी ध्यान रख रहे हैं कि इस परीक्षा की जो एक प्रामाणिकता है, इसकी जो सीक्रेसी है, इसकी जो सेफ्टी है, वो पूरी बनी रहे।
Dr. Vineet Joshi said the number of rooms have been increased so that no more than 12 candidates sit in the same room. He also informed that staggered timings have been allotted to different groups of students in the same center and number of invigilators has been doubled. Meanwhile, the NTA today released the admit card for National Eligibility cum Entrance Test Undergraduate NEET UG 2020 examination. In the first 3 hours, over 4 lakh candidates downloaded their admit cards. In the first 5 hours, 6.84 lakh candidates have downloaded their admit cards. Nearly 8,50,000 candidates have registered for JEE mains this year. Over 15 lakh candidates have registered for NEET undergraduate, which is slated to be held on the 13th of September. Candidates can download their admit cards from the official website ntaneet.nic.in. The Education Ministry said for JEE main, a total of 7.41 lakh candidates out of 8.58 lakh have downloaded their admit cards. Only 332 candidates have requested for a change of their center cities, which are being considered positively. More than 99% candidates in each of the 2 examinations have been allotted the first choice of their center city. The NTA has substantially increased the number of examination centers for the JEE mains and NEET UG exams. The number of NEET centers has been increased from 2,546 to 3,843. In case of JEE mains, the number of examination centers have been increased from 660 from 570.
The GST Council will meet tomorrow with the agenda of compensation for loss of revenue arising from the implementation of GST. The 41st meeting of the GST Council will be held via video conferencing. Ahead of the meeting, Chief Ministers of opposition ruled states got together to devise a common strategy on the issue. Attorney General K.K. Venugopal had earlier opined that the centre is not legally bound to make up from its coffers any shortfall in the GST revenues of states. The centre had in March sought views from the Attorney General on the legality of market borrowing to make good the shortfall in the compensation fund. Under the GST laws, states were guaranteed to be compensated bi-monthly for any loss of revenue in the first 5 years of the GST implementation from the 1st of July 2017. The Niti Aayog today released the Export Preparedness Index EPI 2020. EPI intends to identify challenges and opportunities, enhance the effectiveness of government policies, and encourage a facilitative regulatory framework. The structure of the EPI includes 4 pillars, which are policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem, and export performance. It also includes 11 sub-pillars like export promotion policy, institutional framework, business environment, infrastructure and transport connectivity. This edition of EPI has shown that most Indian states performed well on average across the sub-pillars of exports diversification, transport connectivity and infrastructure. It also says overall most of the coastal states are the best performers. Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu occupy the top 3 ranks. Niti Aayog said to achieve the target of making India a developed economy by focusing on Atmanirbhar Bharat, there is a need to increase exports from all the states and union territories. The EPI provides invaluable insights on how states can attain this goal. On the occasion, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Dr. Rajiv Kumar said that the Indian economy holds immense potential to become a strong exporter on the world stage. He said to realize this vision, the Export Preparedness Index evaluates states' potential and capacities. Niti Aayog Chief Executive Officer Amitabh Kant said that the Export Preparedness Index is a data-driven effort to identify the core areas which are crucial for export promotion at the sub-national level. Gujarat has been top-ranked in the first ever Export Preparedness Index 2020 released by Niti Aayog today. AIR Ahmedabad correspondent reports that exporters from Gujarat have welcomed the development.
At present, 70% of country's export has been dominated by 5 states, including Gujarat. Gujarat has topped the index with a strong display in various sub-pillars such as export promotion policy, business environment and infrastructure. Gujarat had also topped the ranking of the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business earlier. The first ranking in Export Preparedness Index is the reflections of policy decisions taken by Gujarat government under the leadership of Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. State BJP President C.R. Patil congratulates Chief Minister Vijay Rupani and the exporters of the state for this achievement. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
The Niti Aayog will virtually launch the India component of the Nationally Determined Contributions NDC Transport Initiative for Asia TIA tomorrow. The event will inform the transport, energy and climate stakeholders in India about planned project activities for the upcoming year. The government has made a FASTag mandatory to allow users to avail any discount at highway toll plazas across the country. A decision has been taken to promote the digital mode of payment and ensure seamless travel on national highways. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways amended the National Highways Fee Rules 2008 to allow a discount for users making a return journey within 24 hours and other local exemptions only in cases where the vehicle carries a valid functional FASTag. The ministry is also informed that the amendment would also enable an automatic discount and no prior receipt or intimation will be necessary if return journeys are completed within 24 hours.
The Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare, DOPPW, has decided to integrate the Electronic Pension Payment Order, EPPO, generated through the Public Financial Management System application of the Controller General of Accounts with DigiLocker to enhance the ease of living of central government civil pensioners. This system will enable any pensioner to obtain an instant printout of the latest copy of their PPO from their DigiLocker account. This initiative will create a permanent record of the PPO in the DigiLocker and at the same time eliminate delays in reaching the PPO to new pensioners as well as the necessity of handing over a physical copy. This was a target set to be accomplished for civil ministries by 2021-22, which the department completed ahead of time in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. In our series on Atmanirbhar Bharat today, we bring you a special story on prospects of beekeeping for farmers in the country. The government has rolled out several measures to promote beekeeping as part of its aim to double the farmers' income. Under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, 500 crore rupees was allocated to the sector to enhance engagement of farmers in the sector of honey and wax production. India is among the world's top 5 honey producers, and in a span of over a decade, honey production in the country has risen by 242% and exports shot by 265%. The National Bee Board has also created 4 modules to impart training as part of the National Beekeeping and Honey Mission, and over 30 lakh farmers have been trained in beekeeping from across the country. In the wake of COVID-19 outbreak, the government has launched Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan GKRA to boost employment and livelihood opportunities for migrant workers returning to villages and similarly affected citizens in rural areas. The Abhiyan is taking action on mission mode to provide employment to migrant workers who have returned to their native villages of 6 states, Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. The Abhiyan is now empowering villagers with livelihood opportunities in 116 districts of these states. Ministry of Rural Development said by the 9th week a total of about 24 crore man-days employment has been provided and 18,862 crore rupees have been spent so far in the pursuit of objectives of the Abhiyan. The ministry said GKRA's success so far can be seen as convergent efforts of 12 ministries and departments and state governments which are giving higher quantum of benefits to the migrant workers and rural communities.
The Ministry of Women and Child Development has invited nominations for the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar 2021 from children, individuals and institutions. The Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar was instituted to felicitate meritorious children, individuals and institutions in the country. These awards are given under 2 categories, Bal Shakti Puraskar and Bal Kalyan Puraskar. The awards are given by the President at Rashtrapati Bhavan in the week preceding Republic Day every year. The Prime Minister also felicitates the awardees. The Indian Army today said reports in the social media on donations to the Armed Forces Battle Casualties Welfare Fund for the purchase of weapons and equipment are not true. In a series of tweets, the Indian Army clarified that the subject fund was opened in response to the desire of citizens to contribute for the welfare of battle casualties and their next of kin, and is being utilized solely for that purpose.
Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan announced 1 crore rupees financial assistance to the family of martyred army soldier Manish Carpenter, who made the supreme sacrifice for the country in Jammu and Kashmir last week. The Chief Minister also announced a government job to a family member of the martyred soldier whose body was brought to the state last night. The 6-member central team in Assam today held meetings with officials of various state government departments in Guwahati to assess the damages caused by floods in the state. The central team will visit various flood-affected districts including Kaziranga National Park tomorrow and a day after to assess the damages. 3 waves of floods have caused massive infrastructure damages in the state this year. Over 100 people have lost their lives due to floods. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. It will have a minimum temperature of around 26 degrees Celsius and maximum of 32 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. On the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 22 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 28 degrees. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be around 16 degrees, while the maximum will be 22 degrees. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 20 and 32 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be thunderstorm with rain.
Massive protests and a torch rally were held in Muzaffarabad city of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on Monday night to oppose the mega dams to be constructed by Chinese firms on Neelam-Jhelum River. The rally was attended by over 1,000 people from the city and other parts of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We have a report.
Pakistan and China had recently signed agreements to construct Azad Pattan and Kohala hydropower projects in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Azad Pattan hydropower project of 700.7 megawatts of electricity as part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor was signed on 6th of last month. The $1.54 billion project will be sponsored by a Chinese company. Locals are upset with the high Chinese presence in the area, massive construction of dams, and river diversions threatening their very existence. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
The National Health Authority has released the draft health data management policy of the National Digital Health Mission in the public domain. The draft of the policy has been released on the official website of the National Digital Health Mission and will be available for public comments and feedback till the 3rd of next month. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 76.3%. Over 24,67,000 people cured so far. Health Minister Harshvardhan virtually inaugurates 2 new medical colleges and 3 super speciality blocks in Rajasthan. Safety of students during NEET and JEE 2020 top priority for authorities, says NTA. Admit cards for NEET undergraduate level released. Central team in Assam assesses damages caused by floods with state officials in Guwahati. And Niti Aayog releases report on Export Preparedness Index 2020. Gujarat, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu occupy top 3 ranks. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.